Good evening, Gills fans, and welcome back to Gills in the Blood TV. It is Monday review time, and it is another positive one. I think that's now 6 Saturdays on the bounce where the Gills have not lost. Only 2 defeats in the last 8 games since beginning of February, I think, and both of them have come on a Tuesday night since we lost to Barnsley on a Saturday back at the beginning of February. Those reversals coming against Bristol Rovers and Sunderland. But yeah, Saturday's game was a massive one, a 6-pointer, a bona fide relegation humdinger as we travelled to Kingsmeadow to take on Wimbledon, who were on the back of a 7-game unbeaten run, sorry. 4 games without conceding, 10 points from 12 in that time. So credit to the boys. I'd have taken a point, so to come away with an excellent 4-2 victory says a lot about the coaching staff and the players and carrying out their duties correctly. It's an excellent 3 points, and suddenly we're in the top half of the table and looking relatively comfortable. If 50 is to be the magic mark, then we're only 3 away, which is 1 victory now. But yeah, looking at the game in more detail, didn't start great by all accounts. First 20 minutes we were under the cosh massively. Joe Pigott, ex-Gills Lone Star, was pulling the strings for the Dons, and we'd done well to stay in it. So give the boys credit for that, for hanging on in there. But eventually the pressure of the home side did tell, and they took the lead. Scott Wagstaff, our ex-player, playing a part in the goal. But yeah, as I say, we stayed in the game. At 1-0 we rode it out a bit more, and then Brandon Hanlon scored a very smart equaliser after being played in by Leonardo da Silva Lopez for the first time. He missed a good chance, and then the second time it happened and he managed to squeeze it in at the near post, and then seconds later it seemed, my news feed flashed up on Twitter because I didn't go to the game on Saturday, that we were 2-1 in front, and looking at the highlights, speculative effort from Graham Burke was spilt by the home keeper into his own net. That's the kind of things that go for you, I suppose, when you're playing well and results are going your way. So fingers crossed that is a sign of stuff that's going to continue to happen for us, and we are playing well and we're earning that bit of luck. So yeah, so I think it was a bit of a bonus to go in at the break 2-1 up, because we were second best for the first portion of that period. But goals win games at the end of the day, and especially at this stage of the season when you're in a relegation battle that involves half the division, you take it any which way you can. And we were brilliant second half by all accounts. We come out and we had a really good goal disallowed for offside against Connor Ogilvie. Looks like the short corner was rolled back to Graham Burke, and he was in an offside position before he whipped it in, and Connor added it in, which was a shame because by all accounts he was absolutely spot on. Again, plenty of people that I spoke to on social media and Twitter and Facebook have said that he was man of the match. But it wasn't long before we scored a 3rd goal, and that was a Luke O'Neill quick throw in. Leonardo da Silva Lopez, excellent first touch, and drilled his finish into the bottom corner. 3-1 up with just under an hour gone, and we put the game to bed completely, didn't we, with 10 minutes to go. Tom Eaves, 20th of the season. Running out of superlatives to talk about him, really. I've said it before and I'll say it again, there was a few people that said that he'd down tools when he didn't get a move in January. Absolute nonsense, absolute nonsense. He's absolutely flying again. First Gillingham player in about 8 seasons to get to 20 goals in a season. So fair play to the bloke. I put a tweet out Sunday evening, 90 games, 38 goals, 13 right foot, 10 left foot, 15 headers, 4 doubles, 2 trebles, 4 penalties, joint 23rd all-time goal scorer. Still with a few games to go this season. He's mixing in esteemed company at the moment. He's in and around Bradley Dack and the likes of Super Bob Taylor on that list. So there's a chance he could go past a couple more before the campaign ends. And there is talk in the paper of Steve Lovell trying to keep him. And he says, me and the chairman want him to stay, and we will do anything we possibly can to keep him with us. He's been phenomenal for a free transfer coming out of League 2. Only scored 4 goals in 45 games a season before he arrived with us. He's been first class in everything that he does. Training, work rate, ability to put the ball in the net. And on top of that, I mean, we spoke to him January 2018, and he's a top bloke as well. Got a lot of time for him, and he has a lot of time for the fans, which is great to see as well. And that interaction's always welcome. And you do see more of it at a lower level as opposed to Premier League and that type of thing. So it'd be great if we can keep him beyond the summer. And also Thomas Holy, who is out of contract, and he had another decent game, made a couple of good saves, made his 100th club appearance, which is excellent. So well done and congratulations to Thomas. If we can keep them both beyond the end of this season, it'd be excellent news, because despite the odd blip in form from both of them, which you're going to get at this level anyway, they've generally both been really good and have played a big part in what we have done well since they've been at the football club. And we know at times it's been a struggle, but they've been really, really decent. And if they do move on, like I've said before, then they go with my best wishes. But let's hope, fingers crossed, that we can get them to sign new contracts, and we can look to finish this season strongly and then build again in the summer. And that is what Steve Lovell is talking about in terms of getting to 50 points. We are now 3 away from 50 with 7 to go, and it is about the points for us, he says. It would be nice to take it on from there and go and get as many points as we can between now and the end of the season to finish as high as we can in the league. I think that's spot on. 50 points generally is the magic mark, like I've already said. If we can put in another good performance at home to Rochdale this coming Saturday, that will give us 50 if we win the game, with half a dozen games to spare. So that'd be really nice. That'd be really good to not relax, but keep looking up rather than over our shoulder for the remaining half dozen games. But let's get to 50 first and then build from it from there. In terms of match report inside, Luke Cordell writes again, and yeah, it's pretty positive, like I say, aside from the first period of the game when we was under the cosh. But you'd expect that against a side that were playing well and we're on a good unbeaten run. They're going to come out in front of their own support and be on the front foot and get in our faces and try and take the game to us. You wouldn't expect anything less. But as I say, we did stay in it by hook or by crook, and we've come out the other side. And yeah, by the last 10 minutes the game was done, we were 4-1 up. Luke does the last paragraph of his report. I think he's got it slightly wrong, unfortunately. He said this was a pivotal game as the ever-changing table told. At half-time, the Gills were sat 19th. I don't think that's the case, because I know we were 19th when we conceded to go 1-0 down, but I think by the break when we were 2-1 up, we were back up to 14th or 15th. So I'm not sure that's entirely right. I did try to keep up with it myself on Saturday. I was doing a live table update as the goals were going in across the division, and I think we started 15th. We went to 19th when we was 1-0 down. Then we went up to back to 15th with the equaliser, 13th with the Graham Burke strike. And there were goals going in at other games, which meant we would fluctuate in between 12th and 15th. Rose up to 12th again when we went 3-1 up, I think. And then there was a Bristol Rovers equaliser at Plymouth. And then Plymouth scored again to go back in front of that game, which meant we dropped back to 13th. And then we scored again and went up a place, I think, because it meant our goal difference and win record was better than Accrington. They ended up getting smashed and dropping like a stone, and then Bristol Rovers equalised for a second time at home park, which put us back into the top half without actually doing anything in our game at the end. So a mad afternoon in terms of fluctuating fortunes of plenty of teams, and it's great for a change that we ended up on the right side of it all, and we are sitting in the top half of the table at the moment, which is brilliant. In terms of match ratings, you can see it was a proper team performance. Looking at Luke and what he's given the players, he's given everyone a 7 apart from Brandon Hanlon and Leonardo da Silva Lopez. He's given them both 8. And I am going to do a little in focus on Leo right now. This is a kid that arrived on deadline day very late. I think it was 10:51. The paperwork officially went through to confirm him on loan until the end of the season, and he's been first class for me from what I've seen of him. I've not been to every game that he's played, but he's made 9 appearances for us now. 7 of them have been starts, and in them 7 starts, we've won 4, drawn 2 and lost 1. So when he starts games, Leonardo, we've taken 14 points from 21 available. He scored 1 goal and provided 2 assists in that time. The goal and the assist obviously came in Saturday's game. It was a really good finish for the third, and it was one that gave us valuable breathing space at the time, and it allowed us to relax and manage the game correctly, which we did. Set up the equaliser as well, so he's played a massive part in what we've done well on Saturday, and it seems he got man of the match online on the Kent online vote, which is great to see. And there is talk again, Steve Lovell already looking towards next season, and he says regarding Leo, he is a lovely young man and with the ability where he can do whatever he wants in the game. He's another one we would like to keep at the club. I've already had a bit of a chat with Wigan, but we will see. For me, I wasn't sure. This is a kid who, under 2 years ago, commanded a fee of £1 million, leaving Peterborough to go to Wigan in the Championship. It's not quite worked out, and fair play to the boys, decided to go out elsewhere and get games rather than just sit on the bench and pick up a wage. I don't know what he's on in terms of a salary up there, but I'd imagine it's decent enough. Wigan are a bigger club than us and they're in a higher division than us, but it'd be wonderful if we could get him in on a permanent deal in the summer. But as Steve Lovell says, we'll have to wait and see. But he's done nothing wrong really since he's arrived. I watched him at Luton last week and he was absolutely superb. His ability without the ball is something that struck me so far. For a kid of that age, seems to have experience belying his young years, and he's only going to get better and better. And it'd be great if he could get better and better with us. But for now, we enjoy him until the end of the campaign. Fingers crossed he can pick up another couple of goals and another couple of assists and end the season strongly and help us end the season strongly. And it'd be great if we're sitting here in May and all the talk is of us getting him in and keeping him, and we finished in a nice position and can really look to build on the strong finish and push on for the new campaign next season. But still a lot of work to do first. Let's get over the line and make sure we're safe before we start running before we can walk, so to speak. But yeah, he's been really good since he's arrived, Leo. I've really enjoyed watching him. He gets around the pitch really well. He gets us up the pitch with the ball quickly as well, similarly to like Sean Clare, I said when we had him on loan before. And to coin a popular phrase that I like to use, long may it continue. And there is finally, before I finish up tonight, there is one other youngster who I've done an in focus on a couple of times recently, and we can't stop talking about him at the moment, and that's because he's influencing football matches and he's influencing results and he's playing well and he's putting in good performances on a consistent basis. And that is Brandon Hanlon. Another goal at the weekend. So for me, similarly to like Elliot List last season, he's got a goal and he's then gone on a bit of a run. He had, I think, 3 in his first 30 appearances for us. He's now got 3 in his last 7. He's contributing with goals and assists. He's got pace to burn. He's an absolute tank. I mean, I play centre half at Sunday League level, and it doesn't matter at what standard you play at. As a defender, you don't want to be faced with pace because they can get you on the half turn and running towards your own goal, and then you're having to defend off balance and getting squared up, and it's not fun at all. I think he's been brilliant this season, Brandon Hanlon, for considering it's his first full season, which I've already said, at this level at League One. He's played 37 games now. He's scored 6 and he's provided 6 assists. That's 12 goals he's been directly involved with. Only Thomas Eves has been directly involved in more. So it's effectively 1 goal in 3 games that he's directly involved with, and I don't think that's by any means a poor return at all, considering last season he was playing in the National League and wasn't even a regular for Bromley. So yeah, I'm quite happy to see that he's sat here and he's proved a few people wrong, and he's probably stuck a couple of fingers up, proverbial fingers obviously, at a few people who've dug him out because I don't understand it. I think he's been really, really good. I spoke to someone on our Facebook page today and said the biggest thing that struck me early on in his time with us was Sunderland at home, and we were 4-1 down and the game was done. There was probably 10 minutes left, and we'd been decent, in fairness. That if anyone went to that home game against Sunderland, we were really good, and it wasn't a 4-1 game. And all the Sunderland fans said that as well. Excuse me. But last 10 minutes, he was still busting a gut to get him behind. He was still coming short. He was still wanting the ball. He was still trying to make things happen. And he hadn't let his head drop, which may have been the case. He was probably only 3 games into a Gillingham career here, and the easy option might have been to have hidden and not wanted the ball and hidden behind his centre half or hidden behind his fullback. But no, he was still trying to grab the game by the scruff of the neck. And I sat there that night and I think I said to Boz and Stocky, he'll be absolutely fine. He'll do all right for us. And he went through a tough patch. Like I say, 3 in his first 30 is goal scorers are judged on goals. And if you're not getting loads, then people are going to have a pop. But from where he's come from and his age, and the fact that he's still learning, and he's learning on the job, because you don't get the benefit of reserve league football anymore, and we're not playing loads of friendlies or behind closed doors games. So he's learning in the spotlight, so to speak. And I'm going to put my neck on the line now. And I'm going to say, unless Elliot List has a really strong finish to the season or someone else, I think my vote for Young Player of the Year will go to Brandon Hanlon, because I think he's been absolutely brilliant. Yeah. Anyway, that's enough from me. That's enough of today's Monday review. I shall be back on Thursday, hopefully with Boz, to do a weekly roundup, talk about anything that happens in the next couple of days, and then look forward to another massive game on Saturday when we host Rochdale, who currently sit 22nd in League One with 41 points from 38 games. But such is the nature of this league, if they were to turn us over, they would go to 44 and only be 3 points behind us, and yet we're 12th in the division. Still a mad league table where it seems there's no mid-table, so to speak. It seems from Fleetwood upward, everyone's in with an outside chance of getting in the top 6, and everyone from Gillingham downwards is still embroiled in a battle to avoid the drop. It makes for incredible viewing. I've had another listen on the way home today to James's D3, D4 podcast. Another brilliant listen. If you're not following them, I keep asking you why not. Go and give them a look at. Go and check them out. Follow them on Twitter. They've got a Facebook page. Their podcast is first class and it's available on iTunes and Spotify. But that's enough of me rabbiting on tonight. We will see you Thursday. We will see you Saturday. And until next time, up the Gills.